All right, could you please say your name and where you're from, both city and country?
My name is Carolina Escobar and I was born in Bogota, Colombia.
Are you a student?
No,
Do you have a job?
yes. I'm working as a research assistant in vegetable pathology, I guess.
How long have you had this job?
I have 1 year, something.
Why did you come to the United States, or MSU in particular?
I initially came here to do my master's degree. I finished that around 2 years ago, and then as a short term plan, I want to stay.
So did you hear about MSU from a friend, a colleague, or your own research?
Doing research.
So you did your own research and just sort of looked at the best schools for...
Well, this is one, and the other thing. Well, yeah, I just knocking doors, and MSU was the one that was open.
What initially shocked you about American culture? Something with the food, the clothing, maybe even the weather?
The first, the food is very different, and even though not all people is like that, but sometimes y- you feel that is so impersonal. The way that people interact with each other, and as a Latin American people, you are very warm. I'm very chatty in person, so that's was
So it's a
kind of
social,
hard.
a little bit socially
Yeah.
closed compared to back home.
Yes.
Did you have culture shock when you got here?
Yeah, I think so.
So did you have like, how'd you get over it, or are you still...
No, now I think after 5 years, I try to get used to that. Although I still struggle with some um, part of that, but I think when my family arrived, part of the issue just was forgotten.
Hmm. So were there people that you knew here in the United States before you came here to study? So like, was there a family member already in the United
No,
States, or
no, I was the first one.
the first one? So
Yeah.
you didn't know anyone when you first got here?
No.
Did you have any problems feeling in or feeling accepted when you first got here? So maybe, just in group settings or at a festival, a holiday.
In a group, and I think it's because of language. So you ended up to be very confident with a specific terms and language that is related with what you working, the environment that you are working with. But when you try to socialize, you realize that it's a completely different language. The slangs and that kind of expressions that are completely unfamiliar, and that's, I think, at least for me, that's the biggest barrier that I found.
Was the difference between just how you talk?
Exactly.
Were you ever discriminated against in both the traditional way, which is person to person, or in the professional world where you were denied a position at a job because you were an international student or just because you couldn't speak English as well?
I do feel that, yeah. Knowing that particular situation that you mentioned, but like in a daily life, sometimes there are people out there that are very patient with you if you cannot communicate pretty well, but there are others instead that could be really, really rude because the language. Yeah.
Did you ever have experience at a job where that happened,
In the
or
job, in the academic environment, in the normal life. Yeah.
just sort of, it just sort of happens?
Yes. Yes.
What do you miss most about Colombia?
The food, um, the warmness. Is that a correct term? So the
Oh,
thing that you are warm with others. Yeah, I
just
think.
sort of the feeling.
Yes. Yes. So we try to be very open and yeah, just warm people. That's what I miss the most.
How did the visa process work when you were first coming as a student or after that?
So, Colombia used to have some kind of problems in the past for the drugs cartel. So we have a lot of issues um, to the visas for the Colombian citizens. But at the present time, I think that things have changed a little bit. So in the case for go abroad and study, there is no big problems at this point. But um, it happens currently that the people still have denied for the visa in Colombia. So it could be a problem, but not for students.
Was it a problem for you, or
Not for me, but I heard cases of people that have struggled with getting visa from, yeah, for here.
you plan on staying in the United States?
Yes, yes. If I have the chance, I will stay. Um, Not thinking just for my own benefit. I think is now for my son. I think he will have better options here than in my homeland.
So, do you have any closing thoughts about MSU, differences, interactions you've had, or experiences? Anything in particular you just want to talk about?
Mm, Nothing that came to my mind right now. I think just putting apart of these small issues with some kind of discrimination, I think MSU is a very nice multicultural environment. So is the opportunity for international students to learn the culture and to have a good time to adjustment um, for this new society because even though we are from the same continent and we have kind of close customs, we are still um, there are differences. So MSU is a good place to start to get like deal with that. Yeah,
All right. Thank you.
yeah. Thank you, Jim.